We got all kind of fiends in the black community. Fiending for sugar, fiending for weed, fiending for money, fiending for attention. And my young black brothers, some of y'all, fiending for Snowbunnies. I must say this. I must say this. When I say that black men need to be with black women, I'm accused of being a racist. But when the white bank don't give black people loans for homes, they're not considered racist. I have nothing against the Anglo-Saxon woman. I have nothing against the Asian woman, the Latino woman. I'm dead serious. I respect all women because I'm an African. We are humanitarians. I harbor no hate or hurt for any group. The reason I'm against black men dating out the community is not because of a hate, not because the white woman is less than. I will not do to them what they did to me. The reason black men need to stay with black women is because that's who we're supposed to be with. How can you be born of a black woman and not want one yourself? Talk to me. Listen. Snowbunnies never. Listen. Marriage. Marriage is a financial institution. If you don't believe marriage is a financial institution, I want you to go on down to the local county courthouse. And I want you to sit in the courtroom when they're going over divorce proceedings. If you don't think marriage is about money, go sit in divorce court and see if you see anybody down there asking for half of their love back. They splitting up houses, cars, retirement funds, bank accounts. They're not splitting up love and emotions. Marriage is about money. And although most black men do marry black women, the higher we go up in income and occupation, the less we do. And let's be honest, black boys, young brothers, kings, you're not dating white women because you just couldn't help who you fell in love with. You dating white women because your insecurity complex dictates that you go to bed with the same person your oppressor went to bed with. In order for you to feel like a man, you got to have the wife of the one you consider to be a man. And when you leave this earth, your non-black wife will not be coming to the black community to drop off any of your money. Name me a single black superstar, singer, dancer, actor, rapper, comedian, who died and left their inheritance to a non-black woman. And that non-black woman came to our community to share some of the wealth. Not one of them. And they never will. Because you ain't nothing but an economic stimulus package for another community's daughter. And if you need your woman to be light complected, we got light complected sisters. If you need African vanilla, we got African vanilla. If you need African lemonade, we got African lemonade. If you need African pina colada, we got African pina colada. But we also got some of that sweet brown sugar. We also got some butter almond, we got some butter pecan, we got some cinnamon, we got some agave, we got that chocolate fudge. And while you at it, you're going to have to make a decision, college students. All of us in here who done been to college, we had to make that decision. And that decision is a real simple question you will ask yourself. Will you use your education to benefit your people or to handicap them? So many of our greatest minds sided with the power structure against their own. What if Condoleezza Rice was on our side? What if Clarence Thomas was on our side? You can't walk the fence. 20 years from now, I either call you a hero or a sellout. Choose your side. And I want you to understand, EWU students, that everything you become or don't become in life is a direct result of one thing. It's not your intelligence. It's not your attractiveness. It's not your talents, your skills, your family background, or your hometown. The most important thing that will dictate how far or not far you go in life is the amount of discipline you have built into your character. And what is DR.UMAR's definition of discipline? It's the ability to do what you don't want to do when it has to be done, whether you like it or not. If you ain't got that, you won't go far. This world ain't run by people who are the brightest. This world is run by people who are the most committed. Persistence and determination runs this earth. Do you know most medical doctors were not mentally gifted? Most medical doctors didn't even graduate at the top of their class. They became doctors because they was committed to doing so. What is it you're committed to? What problem in Black America are you going to solve? Because we not done yet. We got hospitals that ain't been built. We got communities that ain't been built. We got diseases that don't have cures. We got children without no fathers. You got work to do.
My question was, well, I grew up and I went to PWIs like my whole life. Like every school I ever went to, I was the only Black person in the room. So I came to a HBCU to be around more people who look like me. My sister begged me not to come here because she went to a PWI and she was like, people who go to HBCUs, they're not on task. You know what I'm saying? Like they get distracted easily. You know, all my family.
She's a psychological casualty.
All of them are with white people except me.
And she bunny hopped?
Yes. Yes, all of them. All of them. So my question is, you rode through the neighborhood to get here. I mean, we're still redlined. There's not a doctor's office or a Winn-Dixie or Publix or a decent grocery store for about 10 miles probably. So why do you feel like white people want to come to HBCUs, or how do you feel about white people in spaces that are meant to be dominated by Black people, like, if you have any?
I don't have a problem with their participation. I only have a problem if they are in the positions of authority and control. I believe that all Black institutions are to be ran by Black people. Y'all have a Black president, and that's the way that it should be. I have seen articles recently talking about the white takeover of the HBCU. And I have been to HBCUs that have a very large population of non-African professors and non-African administrators. I would be lying to you right now if I didn't say that there is an agenda in this country to gentrify the HBCU. The good news about HBCUs, like Edward Waters, is you are private, which means you get to control your destiny. It is the state-owned HBCUs that are going to have the biggest trouble to remaining black because they're funded by the state and they are controlled by the state. I give you an example. Have you ever heard of HBCU Bluefield State in West Virginia? It is now a PWI. Yes. Yes, it was an HBCU started for us, but guess what? It got gentrified, and now it is predominantly white. It is no longer considered a predominantly black institution. Howard University, which many people consider to be the mecca of HBCUs, they have the largest non-American African population. And if it continues to be that way, Howard University may no longer be a predominantly black institution. And there are others. They want to gentrify the HBCU, and it's up to us because guess what? They can't do it if we're bringing our children to them. So we have to make sure that we are pushing and promoting the HBCU mission because guess what? Without the HBCU, there is no black middle class. Most of your doctors, your lawyers, your school teachers, your nurses, most of the black middle class is disproportionately or largely proportionately accounted for by the HBCU. So without the HBCU, you don't get a black middle class. That means you don't have black teachers, black doctors, black lawyers, black surgeons. The HBCU has kept black America afloat, but the Supreme Court is trying to help them tear that down. I know a lot of y'all heard about the Supreme Court decision a couple months ago that involved the Harvard University, the University of North Carolina, where they outlawed affirmative action even on the HBCU campus. And so what they said was you cannot account for race in admissions, even as an HBCU, if you're being funded by the government. See that? So that's why we got to fight and save HBCUs. It's my hope that every HBCU creates three things. Number one, a grade school that feeds its undergraduate program. If we have a grade school and we make the parent sign a contract that if your child goes to this school, they must come to this university. That's your student population. We need a bank on every HBCU campus so black people can build wealth.
I agree.
Maybe even start with a savings and loans, small, and grow to the bank. And the third thing every HBCU needs is some sort of a community garden or a farm. Our people are suffering because in the inner cities, we live in food deserts. Most of us live 30 to 40 minutes away from real food. I'm not talking about the little corner store selling us junk and expired food. You're 30 minutes to 40 minutes away from real food. And so if the HBCU started a garden, they could supply our communities with fresh fruits and vegetables to help our people improve their health. School, garden, and a bank. Every HBCU should have them. And I also think our black celebrities need to all adopt an HBCU. We have too many billionaires and too many millionaires for them not to be adopting the HBCU. But you know what the biggest thing is? The biggest thing, and I want all my seniors to hear me and all my undergrads at EWU to hear me. Y'all have to give back after y'all leave here. You must donate. A couple years ago, Harvard and Yale. Do you know that the IRS told Harvard and Yale that they have to liquidate some of their assets because they have more money than the government? Because their alumni give them so much money that the government stepped in and said, y'all got to liquidate some of y'all assets. And part of that liquidation agreement was when they came up with that full ride scholarship for black students. If you got a 4.0 and I think a perfect SAT, you could go to Harvard or Yale for free. That came out of the decision from the government that told them they had to liquidate some of their assets because that's how much money the alumni give. White alumni give more money than black alumni. We will go to our HBCUs for homecoming. We will go to our HBCUs to pledge people. We do not come back to give money. You got millionaires who came out of this institution who never wrote a check for it. So we have to get on the phone and do a telethon and call every graduate. I'm serious. You got to have a telethon call. Every graduate of EWU, we need you to donate. Are you going to give $100 for bronze? You're going to give $500 for silver, $1,000 for gold. You see what I'm saying? We got to do that, y'all. Make them give back, and we got to stop letting people off the hook.
Thank you so much.
No problem, sister.
All right.
And before the brother asks his question, for my young people graduating in education and social work, if you interested in employment at the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, please send me your resume. And not just the university students, my adults as well. If you want to work at the school, we are accepting resumes at this time. We have not started hiring yet. We want to make sure the school has been approved for usage, and we're almost there. But we need math and science and language and reading teachers. We need social workers. We need security guards, bus drivers, secretaries, home and school. We need people who know how to do natural hair, because our school will be 100% all natural hair and 90% raw and vegan diet. You know how to do natural food. You could come be our dietitian, okay? It's going to be 90%, not 100%, because I do need a Philly cheesesteak every once in a while, okay? I will not be eating grass the rest of my life. But listen, natural hair care. Ladies, if you want to work at my school, you don't have to be natural now. But all my teachers got to have their natural hair. No wig, no weave, no European hair color. If it ain't nappy, I'm not happy.